Hey everyone, it's Michelle Alexandria. Look at that, I'm on camera. Look at this, woo! Look at my bad hair and everything else. Get it, take a good look, get it out of the way so you can actually listen to what I say. So you can actually listen to the sound of my voice. One day I will turn on this camera and I will have like nice hair, nice nails. I'll have my full makeup on and I'll be looking beautiful. But hey, this is who I am, people. This is just who I am. I'm pretty damn lazy. This is who I am. I am what I am. I am what I am. So anyway, enough of that nonsense. I want to talk a little bit about Game of Thrones controversial episode 5 last night. I have never talked about this show before because I have always felt wholly unqualified to talk about this show. And at the end of this video, you'll probably understand why. And normally, I am not one who likes to do episodic recaps of TV shows. I've tried that in the past. And normally what you see is me slowly descending into madness because I'll start off actually loving the season, and then through the midway point, I'm tired of watching the show. I have no desire to watch the rest of the season, or it's boring and it's filler, and then all of a sudden it picks back up again, and I'm like really excited about the show again. And then by the end, I hated the season. So you see all the different shades of Michelle. I'm more of a wait and see kind of person. I'm not one who likes to speculate on things. I don't like to converse about things that I don't know. I've just never been that type of person who wants to sit there and wax nostalgic about something for about 50, wax poetic about something for 2 hours or something, and be like, well, I think this is going to happen. I don't know, maybe this will happen, or if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be very disappointed if it doesn't happen. No, that's not me. I am someone who wants to watch something as it happens. I don't like to delve too deeply into it, and then I like to wait until the end before I formulate a full opinion on something. But this season of Game of Thrones, I've been a wait and see kind of person, but after the mess of last night, I'm ready to talk about it and kind of vent a little bit. And I'm not gonna rant, I'm just gonna vent. But before I start, let me tell you about my history with Game of Thrones. I know you don't really care, but I'm just going to but since I've never talked about the show before, this is my chance to really talk about it for a few minutes. So my history with Game of Thrones is I'm not a fan of shows that just have blood and guts and sex and rape and all that kind of crap just for the sake of it. So I struggled with the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones. The only reason why I stuck with it was I love the area hound stuff. So I literally fast forwarded over to Daenerys stuff, everything with Joffrey, because Joffrey was disgusting, so I fast forwarded over all of that stuff. And then so basically I just watched the Hound area show. To me, that's all Game of Thrones was for like the first 3 or 4 seasons, and I also followed Jon Snow's journey as well. So those were the 2 story arcs that I really loved in the first 4 seasons. And then once Arya killed the Hound, I was out. I had no desire to watch any more of it, so I didn't watch season 5, I didn't watch season 6. And I came back last season for season 7, which I thought was pretty amazing season. And after watching season 7, I went back and watched season 5 and 6. But I never really went back and rewatched all the stuff, all the Vow stuff from the beginning. I just kind of fast forwarded over a lot of that stuff to get to where I am. So I'm not a huge Game of Thrones fan, but I know enough about the show where I feel like I could talk about it sort of intelligently and explain why I haven't liked the season as much as I thought I would. And the main reason is the pacing feels all over the place. On the one hand, this season could have been like 3 or 4 90-minute episodes, and it would have gone out really good, really fast, really at a I don't even know what I want to say. I give up. I don't care. I don't care, people. So breaking that pace is the word I was looking for. It's the phrase I was looking for. It could have gone out in a real fast breaking, I can't say it. I don't even know what word I'm trying to go for. So this is what happens when I'm unscripted and off script, people. So far, a script, there isn't even a script for me to hold on to. But anyway, So it feels like this season could have been like a tight, nice 4 episode season that wrapped everything up really nicely, really neatly, tied it into a bow, stuck the landing, everyone would have been happy. Instead, it feels like just the opposite. It feels like there's so much filler. On the one hand, it feels like there's so much filler, but it's pointless filler. And then on the other hand, it feels like it could easily go another 9 or 10 episodes. It just feels so weirdly paced. Like at the beginning of every episode for the last 3 or 4 weeks, I was so impatient where I'm like, come on, you only had 6 episodes. Why are we wasting our time on this character building stuff, which I really call character assassination stuff, that we really don't need at this point? We're 8 seasons in. I think we know these characters by now. Now let's just get on with everything. Let's get on. We don't need to see more shots of the Night King slowly walking and staring in the distance. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see Cersei just standing in the same spot she's been standing in the entire damn season. Just standing there and looking out the window with the vacant stare. Like, this has been Cersei for the last 5 episodes. She hasn't done anything this entire season. But by the same token, all the battles felt rushed. Like they felt rushed and hacky, and like there have been too many battles. I hope there's not another battle in the final episode because I'm all battled out with this show. I'm one of those people who thought episode 3, the Night King battle, was poorly shot but well written. I thought everything about that episode in terms of the writing was spot on, really awesome, really great. I love the fact that Ariel was the one who killed the Night King, and I loved how it was done because it was never built up that the Night King was this massive, awesome fighter who would be able to take Jon Snow on, and you see the swords flying, and you see some karate kicks and everything. No, that was never built up. So I don't know why people had this expectation that there would be this massive battle between Jon Snow and the Night King. They showed over and over and over again that all it would take is Valerian Steel to kill him. But the fact of the matter is, you just couldn't get close enough to him to do it. So all it would take is like just a paper cut with Valerian Steel, and he would just crumble. And that's how all of his soldiers have died up until that point. So I don't know why people expected like this huge battle between the two. That was never going to happen. What was needed was someone who could sneak up and get close enough to the Night King to do the stabby stab. And that was logically Arya, actually. That entire sequence actually made sense. Sure, it was done in kind of like a hackneyed Hollywood way with her flying across the screen, but I thought it was a cool moment. I thought it was a really cool moment for Arya, and I was not, and I was good with it. What I find funny are the Game of Thrones fans who are now whining about the fact that acting like Jon Snow is suddenly useless, and why did they even wake him up if he didn't kill the Night King? But that is like the dumbest logic I've ever heard, where basically Jon Snow's the one who rallied the entire, almost all the Westeros together. He pulled everyone together to fight this existential threat. If not for Jon Snow, there wouldn't have been anyone to oppose the Night King. If not for Jon Snow, Winterfell would still be in Bolton's hands. So to come up there and act like suddenly, because Jon Snow didn't do the one thing that you expected him to do, that suddenly he's a useless character, is just fanboy nonsense. I also don't get the whole idea that somehow the books would be better. The books are better and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, last I checked, the last 2 books haven't been written. So how can you say the books are better? You don't know what G.R.R. was going to do or anything, because he did the lazy, didn't write the books. He had 10 years to write the books, so blame him for this season. And if you think for a second that George Martin did not have a say in this final season or how everything played out, you are kidding yourself. I have a bridge to sell you if you believe for a single second that George R.R. Martin didn't approve all of this nonsense. But with all of that said, and I think I wasted 8 minutes just on this build-up, let's talk about last night's episode. So here's the thing that buzzed me about last night's episode. Daenerys has been my favorite character for the last 2 years. I make that a secret because I never really talked about the show. But Daenerys has been my favorite character for the last 2 years. And that was straight up character assassination last night. Because there's a difference between being mad and being psychotic. There's a real difference between being mad and being psychotic. Let me say that one more time in case for the Raptors. There's a difference between being mad and being psychotic. They turned her psychotic for no freaking reason. And to say that they sowed the seeds of this for 8 seasons is BS. It's utter BS. They did not sow the seeds for this type of psychotic break for Dany. They didn't. They showed her to be sowed the seeds that she can become power mad and power hungry and all that kind of stuff. But that's different than being straight up psychotic and killing thousands of innocent people for no damn reason. There was no reason for this because she had already won. Everyone had put their weapons down. She knew that. They rung the bell, and then she goes off and just kills everyone. Why? It was done for pure hack, swervy writing, which is what Game of Thrones has always been to me, where basically instead of doing the logical thing and following through on what they build up, they do these weird, stupid twists that everyone cheers. But now it's caught up to them because people aren't buying the twists anymore because they're not buying the stupid, simple twists anymore. And again, Daenerys has always been shown to want to kill her enemies. And even when she kills her enemies, they are her enemies. She never once killed any innocent person as far as I'm aware. Never. You can claim that, she shouldn't have killed the Tarleys. Oh, the poor Tarleys. Oh, the poor Tarleys. Poor Sam. Fuck the Tarleys. I mean, really, those Dickon and the father betrayed the house that they pledged loyalty to, the Tullys. They betrayed them, stabbed them in the back, wiped that entire house out. And I'm supposed to feel sorry that Dany killed those efforts? No, I'm sorry. I don't understand why anyone else feels sorry for them. Everyone it seems like a bunch of straight up psychotics to me, that suddenly they feel sorry for the Tarleys when after everything, what they did to the Tullys in that episode is ridiculous to me. Not only that, but Dany gave them chance after chance to bend the knee, to surrender, to surrender, pledge loyalty to her. Gave them chance after chance. And they said no. So at that point, they got what they deserved. F them. I hate them. I'm sick of people trying to defend them and make it seem like, oh, the poor Tarleys. And Dany was out of bounds for wiping out the Tarleys. When again, those a-holes betrayed the house they pledged loyalty to and wiped out that entire family. So don't tell me the Tarleys deserve any kind of sympathy at all. The other thing that kind of annoys me about this season is no one seems to give a crap about Cersei. Cersei has screwed over so many different people, especially the Starks. And no one, not a single Stark, seems to care about Cersei or want to get revenge on Cersei. The only one who seems to care is Arya, and we'll get to her later. But the only one who seems to care about getting Cersei is Dany. And up until the last few episodes, Cersei has never really done anything to Dany other than actually sit on the Iron Throne. But she's never made it personal to the last few episodes. And then once she cut off Missandre's head, then it became personal for and killed a dragon. Then it became truly personal for Dany. But up until that point, it was never really personal. It was just business. But you would think the Starks would be gung-ho for going after Cersei, and that is some true power there, where you beat your enemies down so badly that your enemies are like, you know what? No mas, we'll just stay here in the north. We'll do our northern thing, and then you stay where you are, and everybody's happy. Well, wipe our hands of it. But you know, Cersei, there's no way Cersei would have left the Starks alone. There's no scenario where Cersei would have left the Starks alone. She would have hired assassins to go in there and wipe out the rest of that family. That's just how Cersei operates. So everyone should have been thanking Dany for wanting to go after Cersei and, you know, sending her armies after Cersei, because their days were numbered with Cersei on the throne. And to act like it wouldn't have been is just dumbness to me. I mean, and that's what the entire season has been, where Dany's like, let's go get Cersei, let's go get Cersei. Or for the last 2 seasons, it's been, let's go get this Cersei, let's go get Cersei. And Jon was like, nope, don't care about Cersei, but we had this other fight that we had to fight. And that was a logical, like, setting of the priorities. But just once I would like to see a Stark go, you know what, Cersei deserves to die. I mean, and Arya did that, and that's why I loved Arya, because Arya was no nonsense. It was like, hey, I'm going to get Cersei. If no one else is going to get her, I'm going to get her. I'm going to take it upon myself to get her, and I like that moment. Now, later in the episode begins with Tyrion betraying Varys, and Varys deserves to be betrayed. Again, another one of those characters that I don't understand why people loved and are feeling sorry for. Even though ultimately the episode seemed to be all about trying to prove Varys right. But Varys didn't give Dany a chance at all. After everything she did and with the Night King fight, you would think that Varys would have shown more loyalty for at least a couple of weeks or at least a couple of days instead of immediately turning on it. I mean, that just seemed really stupid and really like rushed. And that's part of like what I said in the beginning, where some of this stuff felt rushed, other things felt really slow and unnecessarily drawn out. Varys' turn felt rushed and just done because it fits with his character, but there was no real reason for him to turn on Dany at that point, other than the fact that Dany wouldn't listen to him. And then Varys' comments for the last couple of weeks about only a man with a dick can sit on the throne, that came out of left field. It felt forced. It felt stupid. It was misogynistic as hell. And I was glad to see him go at that point. I did not feel an ounce of sympathy for him. Now Tyrion, I think they're assassinated. Just the way they assassinated Daenerys' character, they're doing the same thing to Tyrion. So that when he finally dies, I'm not going to care, because Daenerys' downfall started when she started listening to Tyrion, in like season 6 or whatever, and Tyrion's advice has been like beyond dumb, just beyond stupid. When he's talking to Jaime and letting Jaime go after Jaime tries to sneak into return to Cersei, and he breaks Jaime out. I love that little moment between Jaime and Tyrion where he talks about how Jaime's the only one who's ever treated him like a human being. That was a really nice, awesome moment, and I always thought those two characters had great chemistry together. So that was a really nice, quiet moment. But then Tyrion opens his mouth again to start begging Jaime to talk to Cersei, and he basically tells him, well, Cersei has something to live for now. She'll definitely step down and surrender, or you could just try to save her. And I'm like, this is the same woman who's been belittling you all your life, put out a contract on you, and then you said this literally 3 times in the last season and a half, and 3 times in the last season and a half, Cersei has done the exact opposite. What part of Cersei would never give up that throne don't you understand, Tyrion? Cersei, and she's right, the only way she survives is if she wins this Game of Thrones and she stays on the Iron Throne, because the minute she's off of it, she's a dead woman. Cersei knows that. Everyone but Tyrion knows this. Yet Tyrion keeps advising everyone, oh, trust Cersei. Cersei has a baby. Cersei has something to live for now. Yeah, and she's going to stay on the throne because of it, you dummy. And if I was Elvis, I would have shot the TV, because that just drove me nuts. That level of stupidity, that constant level of stupidity from Tyrion is driving me mad. I think that's why Daenerys went mad. Just this constant string of stupidity and bad advice. Why is Tyrion still alive? I thought Tyrion was a goner when Varys was. I thought basically it would be like, Tyrion, stand up next to your buddy, and then Dracarys, boom. So during the actual battle was beautifully shot. I thought the entire episode was gorgeously shot. And it's a tale of two episodes. The Night King episode was poorly shot, written amazingly. This episode was amazingly shot. It was really filmic and it was really filmic and beautiful to look at, but the writing was just terrible. And then I talked about Daenerys, I talked about Dany. Let's talk about Jaime. Jaime arrives after Tyrion frees him, and again that goes back to my other question: why was Jaime locked up? Because after everything he did with the Night King, you would think that would have earned him some trust and everything with Daenerys and the rest of the North and everything. But instead, nope, locked him up, wanted to hold him prisoner. And it was never explained why he was held prisoner after everything he's done. But yeah, unless Jaime was just dumb enough to say, I'm going back to Cersei, please let me through. Unless he was dumb enough to say that, I don't understand why Jaime was locked up in the first place. I know Daenerys hates him and everything, but after everything with the Night King battle, you would think Daenerys would be like, you know what? You're kind of my guy right now. What do you need, Jaime? And all this other stuff, and maybe Jaime would have lied or come up with some kind of cover story about how he's going to go kill Cersei or something. But I never thought Jaime was going to kill Cersei. I never thought that for a single second. Primarily because Cersei is the mother of his baby, and there's no way Jaime's going to allow Cersei to die when, she's the mother of his kid. So I don't understand why all these people thought that Jaime would be the one to kill Cersei. It never made any sense to me. It never did. So he reaches Cersei, and basically he tries to get her out, but because of the dragon fire all over the place, and the dragon literally destroyed King's Keep, or whatever that place is called, and all the exits were blocked, and basically they were trapped in the basement, in the map room of all places. So that was a nice bit of irony that they were trapped in the night in the map room. And then the rubble came down, crashing down on them and knocked them in the head and killed them. One would assume. But then Arya was running away, and supposedly the rubble hit her like 5 times. That was so stupid. But that brings me to Arya and the Hound, the end of the Arya and the Hound show. No, tears. But that was a great moment because basically Arya and the Hound arrive at King's Landing, and they're ready to go kill their people, the peeps. But Clegane was like, you know what, Arya, I want you to live. Don't follow this path of revenge. Don't be like me. Go live your life and all this other stuff. And Arya's like, but I want to kill Cersei. No, don't kill Cersei. Again, Cersei has some real power to be able to get all the enemies to be like, you know what? You be you, I'll be me. Bye. And so after all of that, Arya's like, she pieces out. But there was a nice moment where she says, thank you, Sandor. And that was a really nice final moment between those two. And then Arya runs out, and then Arya's running through the city as the dragon is just destroying everything, and rubble is flying all over the place. It was really well done because, like they said in the after show, that basically they wanted us to see a POV of the ground from a character we care about. And I still care about Arya. I know a lot of people don't, but I do. So watching her see the destruction and witness the destruction from the ground, Daenerys is now on our list. And basically, but there are so many fake death scenes in there where basically every 5 seconds rubble will fall on Arya, and it's like, she's dead. And it's like, nope, I'm not. Rubble will fall again 5 seconds later. She's dead. No, I'm not. And then that went on for 5 minutes. And then it's rubble falls on her head, And it's like, no, not. Look at that white horse, the white horsey. I'm going to jump on that white horses and ride out of here. So that was Arya's arc. But before I skipped over there, Aaron and I can't pronounce his name or remember his name. It's not Ewan Gregor. I don't know the guy's name, but the Greyjoy guy. So the Greyjoy guy, and where was Yara throughout all of this? Yara has a fleet of ships. Where was she at? And because she had pledged loyalty to Dany, so where was her fleet of ships at? That I had to question that because Yara is nowhere to be found. But Greyjoy comes out of the water after his fleet is destroyed, and he sees Jaime Lannister. So they start fighting, and I couldn't care less about this fight because there's no build up to it or no point to it. I mean, the only one who hated anyone was Greyjoy. He hated Jaime because he was just jealous of Jaime, but Jaime didn't give a shit about Greyjoy. So that entire fight scene just seemed really stupid and forced and not necessary. And I would have liked to see someone else fight Jaime, but it's Game of Thrones. It's never going to give us what we want or what we expect. But then he gives Jaime a fatal stab. So Jaime's kind of like bleeding, and he doesn't have long to live. So that's when he goes and finally gets to Cersei and tries to get Cersei out before he dies. But they both end up dying together. So the twins come into the world and then leave together, and they die together. Ooh, let's cry, let's shed a tear. Let's all cry, shed a tear, tears to shed. So that's what happened there. So I think that's pretty much the entire episode. But it just, the character assassination of Daenerys, Tyrion, and it had, even Grey Worm went bloodlusty, and where basically, now I understand Grey Worm not giving a shit about any of those people and wanting to get some revenge for Missandria. I probably butchered her name. I don't need you people to tell me in the comments about that. But yeah, he went on stabby, and the other thing about Daenerys turn that really ticked me off was the fact that everyone just started fighting out of character, and all of Jon's men are suddenly all about raping and pillaging, when that was never once shown on this show, that the North was all about raping and pillaging people. And had a bloodlust. That was never once shown in the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. That was what, like, the Dothraki, yes. They're all about bloodlust, they're raping and pillaging, but the rest of the general northern soldiers, they all had honor when they fought. This was like complete madness. And the fact that Daenerys didn't even care about her own allies while she's burning down all of King's Landing and killing thousands upon thousands of people with dragonfire, she didn't once think about the soldiers on the ground, her own soldiers who are running to take cover. And then we're supposed to believe these same people are still going to remain loyal to her? I guess so, because in the trailer, the Dothraki were like, yeah, and you're like, your queen tried to burn you alive. Come on, it made no sense whatsoever. And then where did all these forces come from? Because the Night King supposedly wiped out half of them 2 weeks ago, and he definitely took out all of the I can't even say the way, Dothraki, in the first charge. And then all of a sudden, we have a whole, thousands of Dothraki. One of these days, I'm going to get that name right, people. But we have thousands of you know who I'm talking about, the crazy people. We had thousands of them just pop out of nowhere, and all the Unsullied are at full strength again. And I'm like, where did this mystery force come from? When half of them were wiped out with the Night King. So I'm just like, this episode was poorly written. So I may come back. I'll probably definitely come back with a final episode recap next week. I maybe even try to do a speculation video in a few days, but like I said, I'm not one who likes to speculate on things, and I'm terrible at it. But I want to say, let me know what you think, but I know the comments will be just vitriolic. If you can let me know what you think without being rude, obnoxious, and mean, have at it, people. But if you can't, I'm gonna block you because I don't like hate. I don't want hate on my channel. I don't want to foster hate on my channel. So I want to kind of foster a community that respects each other and can have a civil conversation with each other. And I know I'm just as bad about like responding hatefully, but people just kind of, you know, tick me off. But I'm trying to rein that in, and I expect everyone else to start reining it in. And if you can't comment without being hateful, you will be blocked from my channel. It's as simple as that. I don't have to have comments on my channel, but I want to have comments on my channel. So anyway, I hope you like this, and if you want to see me do more of these, let me know. Because I will. I actually kind of like just sitting here, turning on the camera, and just talking to you guys without doing any fancy editing or any of that kind of stuff. Plus, YouTube is driving me nuts with their copyright strikes and all that kind of stuff, because the minute I try to do some fancy editing or something, it gets copyright struck anyway, so why bother putting in that kind of effort? But I kind of like this kind of easy, laid-back kind of way of doing the videos, so just let me know. And I know you can't handle my sexiness. I'm too sexy for this camera, too sexy for this camera. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.